It's the sunset for you. I was tinkering, and it sounds like I get to return this alternator to Napa because I was told, yep, that had a lifetime guarantee. They just get it from a different vendor now. They go ahead and honor the guarantee on it. And number two came home with a slip for $207 with an $85 or $87 core charge. Somebody's going to get their ass chewed tomorrow. Especially since now I got to go ahead and take care of that. And I won't have a vehicle to do it, so that's even better. Anyway, I thought I'd show a little bit of taking this out. I rarely unhook batteries to do this. Why? That's one off the back of the alternator. It can't touch anything. So that's right there. Comes from right there in case you don't know it. This plug plugs in right around the corner right there. It's a pain in the ass because you can't get your finger in to catch the deal. To unhook it, luckily I was able to get a screwdriver into it. And one thing I don't remember from, like 2.5 years ago, I don't remember that bolt being such an issue. I can't get that bolt out far enough to get the alternator off of it. And the way these work, there's two bolts identical and a collar right here. When you put the alternator in, you tighten it up, that collar slips in. So when you get it loose, you want to work that alternator back and forth to get that collar to budge. Otherwise, it's a hell of a time getting the other one in. So, yeah. I don't know why they had to put a bolt in too long. I mean, on other stuff, it's not an issue, but this has this stupid box right here, which I'm assuming the computer's right here by the looks of it. So I'm hoping I can get the top two loose and shift it enough that that bolt will come out far enough. I mean, I remember not getting the bolt all the way out, but I remember it going back far enough to get the alternator off. So, I don't know. But I figured I would show part of that. Really, the worst thing on these is the stinking serpentine belt. And just so you know, the two bolts and the hex on the idler pulley for the belt are all 15mm. And I thought, ooh, I got it made because I was just in Dad's old toolbox. It's still sitting on the back of his old service truck, and there was a 15mm socket. Well, it's a deep socket, it won't fit. But I do actually have metric tools in that. So, grabbed a metric end wrench and a screwdriver and crescent wrench for that little one on the back. But the crescent wrench, I ain't gonna fight it for these. So, hey, they're cheap, they're inexpensive, and they work. It says Pittsburgh on the box, so you know where it come from. I actually have 2 1/4-inch sets in the service truck, metric and a standard, so I grabbed the metric set. So I'm going to take those loose and see what happens. So I don't remember doing that before, but God, when you work out enough shit and you swap enough stuff, but as soon as that bolt's out, that lifts right straight out. The other one sets right straight in. Stick the bolts in, plug it back in, put the belt back on, ready to go. So I'll bring you back when it's ready, I hope. And you always want to do is make sure that the part you got is the right one. And yes, it is. On some of the old stuff, you get 2 halves, and when they put them together, sometimes the back half is in the wrong rotation. I mean, on this, it's right. They only got, what is there? Oh, there's 3 or 4 bolts through it. Must be 4. Yep, there's 4. A lot of the older ones, I think, only had 3 holding them, and they were evenly spaced, so it could go anywhere. And if they're off, you just take the bolts loose and rotate it till it's in the right spot, tighten them back up. But there's what it looks like. And yeah, I took the top 2 bolts out and shifted that plastic over enough to get the bolt out of the way. And I'd love to show you setting it back in there, but yeah, that ain't going to happen. I'll show you when it's in there. It's not hard. You just set it in, put the bolts in. I'll come back. That bolt started. Alternator's where it belongs. I'm bolting this plastic piece back in just so it stays out of the way. So, yeehaw. Ah, yeah, cheap frickin' ratchets. And there's not enough tension on it yet to make the ratchet work. There we go a little bit. Yeah, story of my life. And I'm in the wrong spot to do this from this way, but it's going to work, right? And when I've done it before, I've used socket and ratchet down there, but yeah, I don't feel like walking clear over to the shop to get it, especially when, why? Oh yeah, that's right, I got a service truck parked right here. So it'll be end wrench going back in. You want to make sure and get them in tight. Don't try to strip them. And that particular bolt, I think, has a little bow in it. Probably from trying to change it before. I don't know. I just know it's there. And yeah, smart guy'd get a better ratchet. I used to have a nice set of Craftsman 1/4" drive. Bunch of deep sockets, good Craftsman ratchet. Yeah, I haven't seen it in about 10 years. Don't know what happened to it. It don't matter what you use as long as it works. You know, late at night, out of town, lost a fuel pump in a pickup once. Kmart, down the Oregon coast. They didn't have the right fuel pump, because, you know, run and choke, they all have Chevy parts. But they did have a cheap piece of crap Taiwanese socket set. They had a 6-point socket instead of a 12-point socket that would actually work. And if I can get this one in one-handed. No, I got it the other handed with the alternator. Go figure. The whole job, slipping the belt back on. Tensioner is, come on, where is it? I can't see it. There it is. Left side of the screen. Am I looking in the right place? Yeah. There's a bolt in the middle of that. You want to put a wrench on that and pull up on it. And of course the really fun part is making sure it's on all the pulleys. So I'm going to let you go so I can use my left hand to pull up on that and use my right hand to slip this belt back on that alternator. It's a nice shiny new one, and it works. Yeah, I was going to catch some of that video, but you wouldn't have heard anything anyway. And yeah, I think I'll just put this one up by itself. How to change the alternator in a 2001 Chevy 3500 HD with the 8.1 in it. There you go. It's not hard. Worst thing's a frickin' belt. Big tip for you. Kind of like putting an oil filter on or a fuel filter on. Put the date on it and where you got it. I mean, granted, that sticker says Napa Power and it has the number right there, but give it 2 or 3 years and you won't read that sticker. And even if you knew where it came from, you're not going to know the date for sure. And if you know the date, there's no arguing. So, kind of like this one. It's all on there. Different number just because it was a different vendor. Still the same thing.